Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to show you two cards that I have made this week using some of the new items from the latest Lawn Fawn release. I love these scripty dies. I've had the Happy for a while and was so excited they brought out Birthday. I'm also a little bit obsessed with both the picnic set with the ants, the crazy antics, and the unicorn picnic set. They're both adorable. So here is how I made these two cards. Starting off with the card that has the cute little ants. All I did for this one was use two colours, a purple and an orange. I love these colours, they kind of remind me of sherbet. I just love the shade of them. So I just blended these, one on either side, and brought them together just a little bit in the middle. I knew these colours weren't going to blend perfectly together because they're so different, but I do like how the background turned out for this. I used some water to give it some texture and used that new starry stencil that Lawn Fawn has brought out with this release to give the background a little bit more decoration. I then went around the edges too, just to give it a bit of a frame. I did this on both the purple side and the orange side. I love them. I think it's so cute. Such an easy way to make backgrounds. I did the same ink blending on this little piece of card. I didn't really show that because I just showed it for the background already. And then I cut the scripty Happy and the scripty Birthday. To add some sparkle to it all, I used my watercolour pigments for the background and the scripty wording. Then time for some colouring. Here are the colours that I used. I used my skin tone set, my Copic markers, a red, and my two cool greys that are just regular alcohol markers, my 0.5 Jelly Roll, and my 0.8 I think I use a little bit later, but because these images are so itty bitty, I mostly use the 0.5. To colour in my ants, I just use the two greys. I colour it in with the grey all over. The light colour, I go in with the dark one just where I want a bit of shadow. And then I just simply use my light grey to come back over and just smudge it all together. And that is as simple as my shading gets, well, as complicated as my shading gets. I don't have many skills when it comes to these things, but I find that this is very effective and it looks pretty cute. I then use my R20 for cheeks. I use this colour for all the cheeks, whether they're grey ants, whether they're pale skinned or dark skinned characters. This colour just seems to work for cheeks. It just adds a layer to it. It doesn't really come out as that perfect R20 pink, but it just does something where you can see that there's cheeks. Using my Jelly Roll, I just make some simple lines where I think light would be hitting these little characters. That's what determines where I put the lines. And then I just add the dots to the shadowy areas. That is just sporadic. I don't plan where I'm going to put these things. I just do it where it feels good at the time. I'm just going to show you a little bit of cake colouring. I won't show you all of it because I pretty much do the same for the cake on the other side, just with different colours. So again, I'm just using two colours to do all of my Copic shading. I go in with the lighter colour first, add a little bit of the dark colour, and then typically go back with the light colour just to blend it all together. I'll leave you with a bit of music while I do my colouring and my white details on these pieces. Cut the Happy and the Birthday scripty words with some black cardstock as well because I really like the shadow that you can do with these kind of dies, and I really needed it to stand out against the background, especially with the background being the same colours as the Happy and the Birthday. So I felt like this was a really good way to make it stand out just a little bit more. When it came to sticking these onto the card, I glued Happy down flat, and for birthday I cut up some of my already very small foam squares into tiny little pieces and used that behind the birthday, so it gave it a lot more dimension. I cut out all my little ants and their pieces of cake, and then it was time to line them all up, bringing cake to the party. It was at this point where I thought, oh my gosh, how cute would they all look with tiny little ant-sized hats? And then my hands were like, maybe not. These are hard enough to cut out by hand as it is. I don't own a lot of matching dies. That's where I have to save money, and if I want all the stamp sets, I have to make some sacrifice, and that is usually the matching dies. So most of my images are cut out by hand. Using my I nearly said 0.1, using my largest jelly roll pen, I then added some white detail to the happy birthday just to make it look a little bit shiny. I added my double-sided tape to the back of this, and I felt like the background for this was done, but it still looked a little bit unfinished. So I thought if I just neaten up the edges, it'll look a little bit more complete. So I grabbed just a plain old rounded corner punch and trimmed off those corners. I had one more cheeky little ant to add in. He was going to be climbing on the bee for the birthday, so I glued him in now. And there we have it, card 1 complete. I do have another card coming up right now to show you, and this one has an attempt at a no-line colouring, so I hope you stick around for this one. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, moving on to the next one. I go straight in with my jellyfish ink to use as my very faint outline for this cute little unicorn. And I'm going to be mostly using my skin tone set of Copic markers. I think the reason I went with no line colouring for this one is that when I look at these unicorns and when I look at what everyone has been making with them, everything looks so sweet and delicious, and I just can't help but think that they need to look edible. I know that might sound a little bit weird, but I just couldn't help but make them look almost like cookies or bickies or something. So that little unicorn I just showed you was my attempt that I did the night before, because I thought, am I going in and trying something way above my skill set? I have only really done one no-line colouring project before for my daughter's bedroom, and even then it kind of had some lines for her birth stats shadow box that I made, whereas these little things are the main feature of the card. So I'm thinking, is this going to work? Is it going to look ridiculous? I love Lawn Fawn for their bold lines. That's the main reason I went for this brand. I love how thick those lines are. I love that it feels like a colouring book when you're colouring it in. Even if you go right up to those lines or on the lines, it still looks neat. But when you go in with no line, all of your mistakes, I guess, are just there for everyone to see. I feel really exposed colouring these in. I had nowhere to hide with my bad blending. I'll leave you with a little bit of music as you watch my attempt. If you don't feel like watching it, just feel free to skip ahead. And there they are, my little unicorns. They turned out really cute. I did the other one off camera because that was just taking a little too long. I think they turned out really good. So here I have used some of my white cardstock and I've cut my new cloud background die with it. And I'm just using the excess pink and the excess brown off my brushes on the very edges of the clouds just so that it picks up a bit of ink. I didn't want these to be too coloured. I still wanted a majority of my background to be white. I then did some flecks in the matching colours. And then because my pink was just a little too pink, I needed it to be a little bit red to match that pinkish red unicorn that I had made. I just went over it with my red brush as well. Kind of made a cool raspberry colour that I need to remember for one of my future cards. I cut both Happy and Birthday in white cardstock twice, colouring one set of them with some of my Copic markers to kind of make it look like, I don't know, maybe different colours of ice cream or something, but I decided that white on the background of that was too light against my clouds, so I decided to go with black instead. And I think that was a really good choice because it made it stand out much better. I glued these down directly onto my clouds, just leaving enough space for where I wanted to stick my little unicorns. I also didn't glue down the H in Happy because I wasn't sure if I wanted my unicorn on top or behind that just yet. Whatever you do, don't lose the little dot for the eye. I found I was losing that like every 2 seconds. That little silver bowl I've got on the top right, I've now given that a new job to hold all the pieces of my projects that I'm worried about losing while I'm in the middle of making things. I have had, oh goodness, I can't even tell you how many people I've had message me over the last couple of weeks about my little glue applicator that I use, the little fine point one. I think it is literally called a fine point glue applicator. Very creative, and I get it from craftonline.com.au if you're wondering. It is fantastic because it's got a pin that goes in the top, like a sewing pin, so it's super thin and it never clogs up. I have had lots of troubles with glue pens and things clogging up over time. This one has not betrayed me yet. So if you're wondering what that is, because I seem to get that question the most at the moment, that's what that little tool is. It is a lifesaver. It comes in a pack of 2, and I think I paid maybe $3 for the pack of 2. I'll make sure I leave a link to it on my blog. Gluing this all down onto my card base and adding just a few sequins that match the colours at the end, this card was also done. I really do like this one. I think it's super cute, it's super girly, and it's going to be sent off to one of my friend's daughters who is an amazing young lady. She is like a real life unicorn, so I hope she loves this. So let me know, which of these 2 cards was your favourite? Ants or unicorns? Let me know in the comments below. I'll leave you with some photos of both cards. If you liked these cards, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and please don't forget to subscribe. I have some super amazing things coming up in the next few weeks to share with you. Bye for now.